Thank you, Chairman. Thank you for everybody to be here today. We are speaking about a subject that is very particular. That means that we are trying to give a picture of what is concerning the art logistics services worldwide speaking. It seems to be quite strange in this assembly that is involved deeply in the logistics services to speak about a part of our market that is not so involved in the logistics services. We must say that the science for logistic art services is quite new. We can consider that as born more or less 10 years ago, something like that, because before everybody, any country, any state was doing more or less by itself. Since the late 70s up until today, the quality development of the logistics services for art has been continuously grown with the selection of international safety and security standards aiming to achieve maximum control over the entire process of handling and transfer of art or work of art. We could call it the security and safety chain, when for security we mean physical protection from external events such as theft, destruction, total loss, while for safety we mean protection against external agents that may damage the work, such as microclimate conditions, improper handling, etc. It seems to be strange, but in the Western country, these standards are really growing in the last year, but in the new country that are the center of interest at the moment for the art and for the market of art, still these standards are not so implemented. Major museums and art institutions, especially in the West part of the world, have been promoting the identification and spreading of international quality standards. Today, recognized and shared by most of the museum, foundation, institution, art collection, galleries, antiques, antiquaires, any kind of owner of fine art, especially in Europe, USA, Canada, Australia, and Japan, and applied by leading companies specialized in the sector. The first to work in this direction were the Anglo-Saxon countries, obviously USA, Canada, and UK, led by major museums like National Gallery in Washington, Metropolitan Museum, Guggenheim Museum, the Getty Museum, National Gallery in London, Tate Gallery, Conservation Institute of Canada, and many others like Louvre in France, for instance, or the German museums. They have heavily invested in research and studies related to the handling of artworks, analysis of packing materials, development of new techniques for handling and deposit, identification of equipment for control and security by constantly checking the effects of these improvements. You have to think that very often the logistics services for art are a mix of technology and human hands, because a lot of quite the last mile of all these transportation are managed by hand and by techniques. So the knowledge and the proof of knowledge is something that is always very, very important for us. We are talking about insulation and heat insulation, microclimate stability, control of shocks and vibration, plants and vehicle safety. Each result has always been shared with the international community through workshops, symposium, conventions. I'm just back from Miami, where we had the worldwide meeting for all the companies where are in, we say their core business in linked with fine art transportation. And we must say that the research and the request of improvement in quality is all the day bigger than the day before. All the North American countries, Europe and Japan, the only up to now Asian state presence, have grown over the years, adopting the standards as indicated for packing, handling, warehouse management, transport safety, vehicles quality, airport procedures. Airport procedures is one of the more important facts of this field. Within each single country, these standards have been diffused thanks to museum professionals, conservators, restorers, and registrars, and also because of some private entrepreneurship that has embraced these standards and invested in physical facilities, warehouses and vaults, vehicles and equipment, and personal training. This is, in my company, we started 10 years ago in this job, and all the time our people are under training because we have to increase the quality of our job. These investments are aimed primarily at increasing the safety of the work during each phase of the transfer, transportation, handling, storage, and we are utilizing air-conditioned trucks with air suspension and sophisticated security and geolocation systems. We did an upgrade the last couple of years of this geolocation system that we call Vector, that is has the opportunity to check physically a roadmap on the screen, so we can study the best road to do with a very sensible transport. And in this we are involving also the security, carabinieri, and police, and we have the opportunity to link through our system, to our IT system, also the loaner, and aside of that, also they can join us and they can check in any moment of the trip where is it the truck, which is the condition of the temperature and the heating and what else, the air conditioning inside the truck itself. This has been one of the biggest investments we did in the last 5 years. These investments are aimed primarily at, for instance, high technology storage facility, even some pilot projects practically unique in the world. As an example, the security vault located at Milano Malpensa Airport, the Malpensa Safe Art, a partnership project between Argo Logistic and Arteria. It's the unique vault inside an airport area just under the tail of the airplane. We can accept the arrival and the departure of pallets, and we have the vault that is in a most high standard of security and conservation level, never had in either international worldwide airport. This is really very unique, and Italy has something like that. The trend of improving and raising safety and security standards is in constant motion of growth, because every day more and better control system and security management, new packing techniques and materials, new vehicles and equipment handling are found. In the interchange between Western countries, any mention to these standards is hardly made, since they are considered and as acquired and their application is given for granted. This happened more or less in any Western countries up to now. There are some basic conditions that are essential and need not to be explained every time. There is always the certainty that they will apply, the least in most cases, and especially when handling masterpieces of inestimable value. Just for giving you an idea, in 2009, my company, that is the more important company in Italy, but doesn't represent the top for what is concerning the worldwide transportation dimension of company, for what is concerning the insurance value transported in 2009, we are a little less than $5 billion, something that gives you the measure of the necessity of quality in art transportation. Until a few years ago, it would have been unthinkable to suggest a transfer overseas to a priceless masterpiece. Gioconda, Annunciazione, Leonardo da Vinci, many of them. Or particularly at risk for the fragility, size, and especially the sensitivity to change in microclimate. Today, instead, it is possible to provide that special measures should be adopted and adhered to the standard indicated. Insulated and sealed packing with microclimate control, handling, supervision in the airport, overnight stops, control, airport transit reduced to minimal technical risk. This, unfortunately, this is the negative side, cannot be said for so-called new actors, countries of the cultural world interchange. They are increasing and growing very fastly. We are speaking about China, we are speaking about India, Korea, Vietnam, Brazil, and other. This country did not participate in this growth process and are now having to recover a long way, not only in terms of structures, vehicles, equipment, and so on, but especially, really especially, in the knowledge, in the know-how, in the personal training techniques, procedures involving the public administration, and in particular, the custom and airport authorities. For the training of technical personnel, it is first necessary that the museums themselves and the organizers should take in this as necessity and promote professional growth by choosing with great care highly trained personnel able to handle any situation. With regard of the procedures which involve the government, it will be necessary that our knowledge to adjust to the requirements of the artwork that cannot be treated like any other goods. This happens very often. For instance, to stop a crate with a masterpiece in for many days in a custom area without control and without the possibility to the loaner or the courier to check and control the situation of the crate. This is something that could oblige to refuse the loans for the next events that these states will organize in the future. This happened, unfortunately, and we have some countries that still have a very negative feeling on this. And especially for what is concerning custom clearance, is something that they will be obliged to change their mind and their procedures. Otherwise, Western countries, they will have big difficulties to do and to authorize loans. The raising of these standards has been critical for qualitative and quantitative growth of artwork handling between Western countries, and it is now a necessary step to implement interchange growth of those countries that only in recent years have come in contact with the world of important art events. So we say, nail to nail, okay, safety and security standards before nail to nail. And after that will be really an integrated world that could have the luck to export and to have the possibility to see this incredible, fantastic masterpiece. Thank you.